helped quite a bit, but he's kind of gone away. So maybe we should look for another host to do more regular stuff. Because I think if someone else is actually organizing them, it helps a lot.
For sure, for sure.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty great.
That's good.
Um, this entire like past week has probably been like the first time that I felt alive in like 2 years.
Yeah,
Like the first weekend that I've ever had. I'm just getting back into my Japanese studies, doing things.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've been like, uh, the last year or two, just like trying to catch up on a backlog, which I can't catch up on. I'm making pretty good progress the last few months. I
Mm.
don't know how visible it is, but like I'm getting through issues that I've had on the side, the back burner for a long time, and like just getting through like because I I get through most of my emails pretty like real time, like within a day or two. But then I have some which I just put on the side, and it's like people that send long essays or things that require like merch stuff, which requires like consideration from my end. That just I either like snooze it for 2 weeks and then re-snooze it every 2 weeks, or leave it in my inbox, and I'm just like, I'll get to that, and then it's like 3 months later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm in a pretty good state now, but it's so hard to keep a good state. Like you get things to inbox zero, and then you're like, yes, I've made it, and then you focus on one task for a few days, whether it be development or something else, and things fall behind. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah, I have kind of given up on inbox zero. I keep like new inbox zero,
yeah,
but I still have like a bunch of like backlog stuff that even you've pinged me on that I haven't responded to, like the
yeah. Well, when
thorough
I say
engagement
inbox
stuff.
zero, yeah, I do like throw stuff into like backlog inboxes.
Yeah,
Like where it's stuff that's like, yeah, that'll be nice for one day, but it's like I need to respond to really. Getting more canned responses together for common things, being like when someone has a laser suggestion, now I'm more likely to just reply being like, thanks for the suggestion, we may get to that. Yeah, you can open an issue here if you'd like us to track it, rather than actually giving a personalized response for every single one. So it's
get
just
many
like,
emails like that. That's
yeah,
nice. Huh.
yeah, quite a few. People asking, even for stable, people being like, this is in laser, bring it. A lot of the stuff we see in discussions comes through to emails as well. Similar, similar things, just a lot of noise.
Uh-huh. Hey, do you want to create a thread for the thing?
Yeah. Yeah, also anyone that's in the audience, if you want to jump into voice and join us and talk about stuff, feel free to raise your hand. I don't know if this is a real community meeting, but Smiggy mentioned that we haven't done one in a while, so it's nice to jump on voice for those interested. We're doing it
Yeah,
a bit
shit.
earlier than usual because the previous time was it seemed pretty universally unanimously acceptable as a time, the 1600 for us, but it is like in the middle of like the afternoon for us, so it kind of interrupts the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of like either I could be outside with like bad mic or not
Yeah,
be
well, I
outside.
think I think that's fine. I think doing meetings from outside is cool.
Find like a nice park, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, turn crisp on you, pretty good these days.
Crisp? Cla
The
Oh, the noise
Discord noise
suppression thing.
canceling thing. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
I was just wondering because I got the email notification for 5.15 releasing and I don't
Oh,
see it on GitHub.
yeah. I'm working on that. I was editing the release notes, and I hit the publish button instead of the save draft, and yeah, it immediately publishes everything, so I pulled it, redoing it at the moment.
Ah, okay.
It'll
Just
be out
making
in an
sure.
hour or two. Yeah. Right, so you get email alerts for new releases, I see. Yeah, it's almost there.
GitHub emails?
Yeah, I guess so. You can
Oh,
these
yeah,
days
yeah, yeah.
when you star a repo or you watch a repo, you can choose to be informed for only releases. I use that quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember now. I get those as well. It's just like automatic archive immediately.
It's
I
funny
don't
because
get.
sometimes they come up as push notifications just from the GitHub app instead of the email notifications.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't use. I have all GitHub emails turned off. I only use the GitHub notification feed, and yeah, I do use the push notifications in the app for mentions or review requests. I like those because it's pretty low volume.
Hey, did you end up having a meeting 3 weeks ago about what is ranked?
No,
What
I
does
don't
ranked
think we
mean?
ever did that one. The last meeting we had was discussing the poll results.
Yeah.
The what is ranked thing,
I think that was like in relation to that beatmap that was ranked, that was a
yeah,
circle.
yeah. That's kind of been resolved now to the large. Oh my god, the conversation around that from the one tweet I put out, the poll, whatever.
Yep.
That was like the most responses, the most conversation I've ever seen in one Twitter thread.
It's a pretty contentious topic, yeah.
Yeah. And both sides have valid points in this case. TY Bug, I see you there in the audience. I have received your DMs and I haven't responded yet, but I do this thing on Discord where if I have a DM that I need to respond to, I just leave it unread so it has like the notification still up in my Discord. So I have seen your message. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just getting to it. Yeah, changelog notes. I've like completely changed my process for that. It's feeling pretty good. I'm not sure if you saw that, but I made a command for ASS that pulls down from the database version of changelog, converts it to Markdown. Then I can edit the Markdown and like republish it to the database, and also use the same Markdown for the GitHub releases page. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you linked the release notes on GitHub, the Markdown thing.
Yeah, and as a result, so one of the main reasons I did that, apart from just having like consistency in the release notes, is that I can upload videos to GitHub very easily and just host them off there, even for our for our OS page changelogs, just hot linking from GitHub's hosting.
I don't know where you find those release notes, but that's good.
The OS ones,
Yeah.
you just go to the OS site and go to changelog.
I mean the Markdown doc that you use.
Um, so yeah, the actual Markdown I'm publishing to the GitHub releases now. So you can see the difference if you look at the releases on the OS repo for the last release versus the one before. The one before is using GitHub's automatic changelog generator. The
Uh-huh.
latest one is using mine.
Right, so this is this changelog is directly coming from your tool.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
yeah. I output it from my tool, then I edit the Markdown. So like I can, the tool kind of you'll see like the smaller changes sections, and then the main changes.
Yeah.
So if I take one of the smaller changes and change it from a bullet point to a level 3 header, then rerun my tool, it'll like update the database to reflect that as a major change rather than minor. Yeah, it just means I can, yeah, structure things in Markdown and have it just work everywhere. It's pretty nice. Still a bit involved to write things up, but I think as we get more users on board with Blazor, I think changelogs are important to have in a pretty good state. A lot of people enjoy. I enjoy reading changelogs of other products when they're written well, as opposed to fix some bugs.
We're improving this app.
What's the usual one? Fix some bugs and took the rest of the day off or something. It's like if you have an issue with an app and you see that, does that like not piss you off?
Yeah, every time. You gotta wonder like what do you continuously improve on like the Twitter app?
Yeah. Yep.
Weird. Even like
Yeah.
Gmail does it like updates all the time and it
Yep.
like barely changes.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're just like pushing out automated releases, and as a product like that, it's less support for them to not tell you what's changed. If it's not a like something that's gonna be visible to users, it's easier to just like not mention it, because then people aren't gonna go looking for the feature and then report issues with it. It's only gonna be like if someone actually runs into an issue with it that support comes up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that might be one.
Automated daily releases like that. Was it Protobuf or whatever other thing that we used to have a NuGet package of?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm getting more and more insight into these big companies and how they operate as more people we know work for them. But yeah, I'm not sure how much I could say of that, but they it seems like they tend to prefer relying on internal libraries rather than external, and just having large teams keeping those internal libraries in a really good state, like fixing bugs on the spot as they come up, similar to what we do with OS framework, I guess, rather than relying on a third party. So a lot of the changes that they push out are just like, menial bug fixes to libraries and shit. So that's probably why they don't bother putting in change logs. It wouldn't mean much to most people.
Yeah, like a mono repository basically, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I've been thinking of like maybe a mono repository is better for our server-side components. It gets a
Yeah,
little
we
bit
do have a
messy.
yeah, we do have a lot of different repos, don't we?
Server spectator, lookup cache, difficulty processor.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this in the past, right?
Yeah,
And we didn't come to a conclusion really. We started with the os-dash server repo, and then we ended up not using it for new projects.
yeah.
So I know this isn't really a dev meeting, but I wanted to ask about PKC, the API v2
Yeah.
like desktop app. I know you've expressed some opinions about it before, but I was curious about like your final stance, so to speak, because
Yeah.
I don't think you've really elaborated very much. I know that you don't really. Well, you've said before that you don't want to host the infrastructure for API apps, which is understandable. But I guess that means that a lot of projects that would otherwise be useful are just like the developers are not willing to deal with the maintenance cost of setting up a server. It's not even the monetary cost. It's just
Yeah.
like for me, for example, I'm not. If I have to set up a server and deal with maintaining that, I'm just not gonna do it, even
Yeah,
if
I
it
mean,
costs me only $2 a month or whatever.
yeah, for sure. And I tend to agree these days, and I think if it's I think we can go ahead and implement it. I think it's a good direction. Like
Okay, sweet.
as we've like in the past, I guess we haven't really had the server resources to handle that capacity. Like the API servers have actually fallen over in the past from people doing, running huge apps and doing huge numbers of queries. But two things. One is that if we don't offer that, people are going to scrape the web pages or do whatever they need to do to work around it, right? And we've already seen that happening. Or they're going to request that users register a full
Yes,
OAuth app,
that's more likely.
which ends up even worse for us. Then we have like 100,000 OAuth apps, and we have no idea what they're being used for. Like for me, I would rather have 100,000 clients under a single app where we can contact the developer if something comes up, if they're doing something that we can't handle. So yeah, I think we should get that in as soon as possible.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've been looking to move one of my apps to API v2 for years now, and PKC is the only thing blocking me. So it would be amazing
Yeah.
to move to API v2.
Yeah, and also for like web browser plugins and stuff, I think it would help a lot. Just
Yeah,
simplify the process for the user and also make it easier for us to handle. Yeah, I feel like like looking at this retrospectively, we probably should have done it sooner before, making your own apps or API keys gain so much traction. It's kind of out of hand these days.
Yeah, well, it's going to come to a head whenever you shut off V1. I don't know if you're going to or if that's even on your radar. I know that like old
Yeah.
web is still up, so I know you don't like shutting off old things.
Yeah. I think old web is next to go. Like we're just waiting on the I don't know if you've been following the announcement system for the new chat.
Yeah, the UI, which has been in development for like 3 months.
I think more than that, but yeah, it's already so you can do it via the API already. Like I think the Love team is going to start using it as a test because as long as you create the channel via the API, the actual API, the UI to send messages and stuff is all fine. But yeah, once that's moved over, I am planning to shut down the old web or more pieces of the old web. Because it's still a security concern to me. That's the main thing. I don't like keeping that up. But the API will stay up indefinitely. I don't foresee, at least for existing tokens. We might turn off the token registration page at some point, but until the usage of the API v1 goes to 0, I'll just keep it up because there's no harm in doing that. It's like $5 a month to us. Should have timed how many minutes we've had this up to see if it sends out a notification. It's usually 20 or 30 minutes. I'm just going to grab a drink. Yeah.
Funny
Oh,
also because, oh, sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
The PKC issue was added to a milestone like a year ago, but I never saw any communication. Like I didn't even know if you knew about that or approved it or anything. So
Was it me
um,
that added it?
no, it was not back in Echo.
Okay.
So yeah, I had no idea what's going on there. Not that it matters now. It's just funny.
Yeah. That was probably if it was that long ago, it might have been when we were at the office, so he would have asked me in real life and then done it. That's
Okay.
all I can think of. We have discussed in the past, and it probably did come up as a yeah, it's okay to do thing, but it just hasn't happened in the grand scheme of things. Should be a pretty easy one to implement, I think. It's just a matter of basically turning it on. Maybe making some new scopes. I don't know if we need to. Yeah, so there are many pieces of my changelog flow which I want to improve. Is being able to make like, you know how Vast made the video content for changelogs or for releases occasionally. He does a pretty good job. I was looking at if I can like better automate that, like have a video template where I can drop in 2 videos of like before and after of changes and have them automatically um, render out to a like sweeping view where you can see the change side by side. But I'm still looking for a good solution for that, whether it's going to be like some kind of crazy FFmpeg script or some video editing software which allows doing that.
Wait, to do what? To render the game?
Well, that's another one. Basically, like a lot of the changes we push, or a lot of the PRs have like before and after videos,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to. It looks really ugly if I put both of the videos in the changelog and have people click to play each one. So I want to like have a combine them into one video basically,
Right.
and like have a vertical split in the middle or something so you can see the change, or have it sweeping from left to right over time, or have it. One of the coolest ones I've seen is it like sweeps to the middle of the screen showing you like before and after, and then rotates 360 degrees so you can see all angles. Something
Cool.
like that would be cool, I think.
Hey, just very quickly, can I close the May 2021 milestone on Osweb?
May 20. Yeah.
Just had one issue in it. It's okay. Closed.
No.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you ask questions?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
like, and last time I asked about like the easy mode because it's not making the game easier. So maybe
Yep.
instead of like a mod, it's more because if you put easy on the map, it's not because you probably want to have a new EP score or something, but probably just you want to play the map. So I thought maybe you can add something like a like you can choose the how slow the map is, like 99% or something, and you can choose your own approach rate, so you can just play the map, but it's not ranked.
Have you tried
Like,
laser yet?
no.
Okay. You should give laser a try. Um, search on Google or YouTube for what is laser with a Z, Lazer. It's like a new version we've been working on for a while now, and that has everything you've asked for there. It's not in the easy mod, but there's new mods like difficulty adjust where you can actually change the approach rate, or I think halftime, right? Halftime, you can actually set the audio speed now. It doesn't have to be 0.75. You can set it to 0.99 or whatever you want.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna try that. Thank you.
Yeah, give it a try. The full leaderboards aren't in yet, but it's pretty playable and pretty fun. A lot of people have already switched across, even though it's still in like a semi-release state, I guess. Do we have was I supposed to make a thread for this and I didn't?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me make a thread and I'll post the link in there. It'll be in the community meetings. How do I do this? Discussion thread. Have you guys got Discord party mode on? It's pretty cool.
No, I just missed that thing.
It's great. Turn it on.
I can't turn it on. I can't find it all.
Speaking of infrastructure, how's the new scoring tables going?
Yeah, it's been a bit on hold, hasn't it? Not much info coming in. One sec,
Bakaneko is
let me just-
making progress on the indexer. I noticed that the output changed in my Docker thingo. Whenever I
the
run
output
Osweb.
changed in your Docker thing.
Yeah. Maybe?
Yeah, so I think that's two different things. So the Poon has been working on getting Osweb into a fully Dockerized state. That involves the next step there is actually switching the dev environment, which is currently it's Dockered, it's Dockerized, but in a pretty weird way. Like he has scripts kind of joining things together, and it's not running under Kubernetes. So moving all that across to Kubernetes is the first step, and then actually production is also going to be using that same structure as the step after that. So yeah, hopefully for us that means that running Osweb Docker is going to be a lot simpler and more in line with what we get on production. But yeah, in the infrastructure stuff. So I haven't done much from my end. Kind of waiting on the Elasticsearch indexing, and the reason Elasticsearch is so important is that it is actually going to be used for mod leaderboard lookups, friend leaderboard lookups, all the edge cases where we were using databases like extreme database power to do the lookups since we didn't have full indexing available. So the schema for Elasticsearch has been finalized. I checked that last week and it looks pretty good. Like everything's there that needs to be there. Bakaneko is working on updating the Elasticsearch indexer, which is a component that takes scores from previously it was like watching the table. So it would like every 5 seconds it would poll for new rows in the high scores table and then put them in Elasticsearch. the new version is using OSQ processor. It'll read from a queue, which is where the scores are being, pumped to. You know that stuff already.
Yep.
And
So
it'll
Elastic Index is being deprecated basically, or is it still going to be
yes.
like worked on?
No, that is no longer required. It's going to be a queue processor instead.
Okay. It's going to be bundled into the Q score statistics.
It won't be bundled because it'll be reading from a different queue.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that'll be in parallel or whether it'll be after the statistic, because yeah, you have to keep in mind that at the point of indexing Elasticsearch, everything needs to be finalized, accuracy, calculation, whatever. So it may be that we need to run the statistics processes and then push to the ESQ to do the final indexing. So yeah, once that's done, we've pushed out the changes to OSWeb that updates the structure of the model classes to the new solo scores model. And then the next step is basically doing the actual movement of stable scores across to the new structure. So with the model changed, all the pages, the beatmap listing, beatmap info, user profiles, are all reading from the new model, which means in theory, just changing the data source is enough to do the final migration from OSWeb's perspective. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
Yeah, so then it's just about migrating the data. And I mean, I already have the batch processing scripts or apps in place to do that. It's just going to be a matter of running it again. And there's going to obviously be things that come up along the way, but the main remaining pieces of the puzzle for me, which I was planning on this week, I'm going to be looking at the medal or achievement processor because we don't have that yet. Just moving that away from Web 1.0. That's one of the uglier pieces of code that exists there still. And yeah, then just updating the private API for stable to read from Elasticsearch rather than the database is also going to need to happen. I don't foresee that to be a huge deal. And yeah, then just looking for anywhere else which is reading scores that's doing like direct database queries that we're going to need to update. I'm sure there's a few places that have been forgotten. Yeah, and then like there's I mean, I'm trying to do this step by step because there's so much involved, but then it's going to be a matter of making sure we have the performance PP calculations working and running up to speed, like handling the full load. So I still need to basically go through that with you because we have a C# version of that, don't we? Already, that's running on the statistics processor.
Not actually currently running. It's in a PR. The total performance is in a PR. The actual
that's right.
P
Okay,
one.
the user totals. Yep.
Yeah, user totals.
Yeah, so we're going to need to check whether that can handle the incoming load.
Yeah.
Both of those pieces, and probably adding a bit more caching and stuff to that to make it work. But yeah, I think that's about it. Looking at the remaining ID space we have in the scores table, like as in when is the hard cutoff, when are we going to run out of primary key ID space? It's looking to be another 3 months or 4 months, so we're not in any super danger there, but obviously we want to make this happen as soon as possible as well.
Yeah. The whole like PP stuff is going to be interesting as well in terms of I'm not sure if the current processor will run on like the old structure of things. So
yeah,
we've since merged like SR and PP changes. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we need to go through this thread now. So Uberfaz asks, when in the laser dev process can we expect super long maps to be rankable, aka not breaking score. Um, so where are we with the scoring thing? Like, because obviously we're going to be storing scores using the new structure, and that's probably going to happen from a stable perspective. So if a user submits a score on stable, it's still going to be using the stable scoring, right? Or are we planning? I don't know what the results are of the what is coming of the survey.
Yeah, I would need to go through the survey again. I don't remember either.
Yeah, and like this is the kind of stuff we need to get together and talk through this. Like, we're going to do that at some point in the next coming weeks, but yeah.
But I
yeah.
don't know if stable can be changed.
Yeah. So to answer Uberfaz's question, the new scoring algorithms that we have do support it fixes those issues, right? But it's a matter of whether we can make that work in stable or not.
Yeah, I
And
think those maps are definitely going to be rankable, like in laser, anyway.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's one that
It's basically like when in the laser process, are they going to be rankable? Pretty much from the get-go, I think.
yeah, I mean they already
like-
work in like the playlist system and stuff, so it's supported by everything laser. Just stable is a bit of a we're not sure yet. The reason to avoid ranking them for now is because they will break unstable. And I mean, there's hacks we can do, like we can force score v2 on them, but I've done that in the past, and it's more pain than it's worth, I think. And yeah, this hits home because I have like a couple of threads in my email which are like people wanting to get their crazy long marathon maps ranked, and I think it's a cool thing, like having maps that long. And it's a bit unfortunate that we're not able to support them, but that's where we are.
I know it's already priority, sir. Is there a way to revert the changes this has done to profile statistics once it's fixed? Modifying a beamer does not invalidate online ranking status. I don't know what we're gonna do about profile statistics. We're probably gonna like recalculate them, or
Oh, if you mean someone's been doing stupid stuff, well, they
yeah,
will
if they've
get
been abusing the settings.
restricted. It's just that's counted as cheating. So if you feel free to report users which have been abusing that kind of stuff, they will get restricted and rolled back or whatever, which will handle that because it'll roll back their stats.
Seen lots of issues regarding HP drain in laser versus stable. There's an open PR about it. Can you expect any updates on this in the near future? Yeah, so the HP stuff was kind of on my list for the entire last week, but I was also doing a bunch of other stuff at the same time. So yeah, it's like very close on my list of things to like look into.
Yeah. I
'Cause
almost
that
think that we
PR
just need to implement like almost stable HP. Like what I'm saying is people aren't going to be happy until it matches what their exact expectations are, I think. I mean, we can keep trying to improve what we have, but we'll see.
Yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
we're
I
already
could
doing
probably
pretty similar, right, to what stable is in terms of algorithm.
yeah, it's pretty much the same like style of doing things.
Yeah, and the goal was to really improve on what stable's doing, so maybe there are edge cases. I think you may have identified some already, I don't know. if you find beat maps with weird playing HP drain, then definitely link us up because it helps.
Yeah, the PR in question is doing like some very questionable things, such as like changing one value by 0.05, and apparently that has like a huge difference in HP drain, which doesn't sound correct. Like that sounds like a problem with the algorithm if that's the case. It shouldn't be that sensitive. But yeah. Regarding laser HP for emulating stable, what about mania? That is a good question. My stance is that it doesn't matter if mania has HP drain or passive drain. Sorry. People will get used to it, and it shouldn't make a big difference to you in terms of playing. Like if you're at the point where passive drain is actually impacting you, then either you're already failing the map and getting below like 93% accuracy, which for like hard maps is like if you're playing like the 6-star like 4K maps or beyond, like that's pretty much a fail, right? Or the system is just way too harsh, which is kind of the case. So like the end goal is for the system to not be too harsh, and I think once that's the case, then mania people won't notice passive drain being a thing at all. Where's the current state of touchscreen support in laser? We get like one of those issues every other week. Like, give mobile support, mobile controls. Something we're gonna want to do pretty soon, just to remove that that load.
Yeah.
Closing those issues. Part of a PH team in the Philippines. PH. That is going to remake the OS arcade that will make use of laser. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got an email about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in doing it, Touch is supported by OS framework. It should technically not
there's
be
some
that.
issues with Windows Touch, which I need to look into. I know about that. It's like if you have raw input turned on, it maps to like 0 to 1 instead of the full screen. So it's totally balked right now.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Philippine group, they mentioned wanting to actually monetize it, like make it pay per play, and I told them they can't do that, or they need to take off the OS branding, because they were planning to do a laser fork and leave all the OS branding on, but charge to play. I'm like, nope, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do eventually want to have an arcade mode built into the game for those kinds of use cases, I think.
Yeah, if you just make it like an once-off arcade, maybe you just use Linux. Get around the like whatever touchscreen issues Dean just mentioned.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, there's already touch screen controls in Tyco, I believe. Was I imagining that PR being merged?
Oh, it's not merged. We need to get that in, because it was a pretty good state, and the PR isn't bad either. It's just fallen off the radar, I think.
I see it. Yeah, like you could use that PR as like a basis if you want to implement it for the other modes. It's in a pretty good state.
Trying to figure out how to finish this release publish. I need to run a PHP artisan command, and I can't find it.
Stuff example maps actually has been merged, but it'll have consequences of cheesing and converts. Yeah, well, touchscreen has a lot of consequences. That's expected.
What stream ideas, Laser?
Mm. Then it just needs virtual buttons. Yeah.
7.
So I talked with Peppy. I mentioned it to Peppy. Because the plan was to have the key counters for like touch input, but I just don't think that's a good idea for us, because when playing us, people want to like move their hands around. They want to like press things at one particular place on the screen.
Yeah,
Things that can, like,
I agree. I don't think the on-screen controls should be limited to any specific location. It should just be taps anywhere.
yeah, it's just a matter of like handling input. You don't even need like UI or anything.
Yep. I mean, I do see there being feedback on the screen when you do tap,
Hmm.
like little circles coming out of your fingers, basically, to show that it's recognized the tap and which tap it was. Probably different colors for left and right or something. Especially for people that are streaming or recording their plays, that I think that'll work quite well.
Yeah. Give me
And
my
whether we can
little
encode that
Idolmaster
into
stars.
replays as well, I don't know.
What?
What did you say?
Give me my little Idolmaster stars.
Oh,
Every click
yeah.
blurts out like some stars. Yeah.
Zachman the Third, the release is now up if you want to check it out. It's still missing a video or two. I need to record them after this meeting is over so it doesn't have our voices on the recording. But it should be okay. There's a few people with their hands up. Should we add them all at once or one at a time?
Oh, I didn't notice that. Wait, one at a time.
Hi, it's me again.
Hey.
Welcome back.
I wanted to just touch on, I know you haven't like fully decided how you're going to deal with scores and stable, but I did want to touch on Tycho because there isn't really a stable scoring analog in Laser. Because the newer scoring version is like the way that V2 was, but it isn't perfect, and then the standardized scoring is not what Tycho was in stable. So just curious on how you plan to handle that when the leaderboards are coming into question.
Yeah, we had a survey on this.
Yeah.
And I think like half the population was pretty okay with scores changing, or even more than that. Like the leaderboard ordering changing.
I mean, that wasn't Tycho specific, and I think someone opened a discussion or an issue recently regarding Tycho scoring, and I think we both saw it and basically said we need more discussion there from the community because it wasn't immediately clear what the issues were.
Right. I don't remember that issue, but yeah.
I don't know. Tycho is just the game mode that's going to have like the most significant impact because it doesn't have an analog in Laser the way that all of the other modes do.
So when you say that, you mean this?
Well, like theoretically,
scoring?
like Mania is very similar to the classic scoring in Laser. Like it's not the same, but it's very similar. And then the same thing with the classic scoring in Laser, and then the rule sets for OS and Catch are very similar. But Tycho doesn't have anything that's similar to it in the Laser
Are you
scoring
saying
systems
Tycho
now.
scoring has changed a lot?
Well, because of the way that it's not combo exponential,
Not
because
either 1 million
that just
or
changed in one of the recent PRs. You changed the way that classic scoring was to be combo exponential for all modes.
All right. So you're
that.
saying when you turn on the score displayed mode to classic, it still doesn't match up too well.
Correct. Which I'm not saying is a problem. It's just something that needs to be taken into consideration when you're thinking about merging leaderboards.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't think it matters that much what the raw score values are. not.
I mean, if it's gonna sort by accuracy, then it doesn't matter at all. But or which was the more popular in the survey, the PP sort by PP by default. But I don't know if stable would ever have that functionality.
I think it will. Oh wait, stable? Yeah, not sure.
Because I know
So-
originally on like one of the older issues, you mentioned that all of the stable scores would be recalculated, but I don't know if that would still happen in real time. If someone plays in stable, would it then be
It would be real time.
recalculated into laser scoring immediately?
Yeah, if we go down that path, it will be real time. But it would be real time for. It's a hard one because like as we've seen with the difficulty, the star ratings in stable they don't match web anymore. And that's caused quite a
Right.
bit of confusion. So I don't know if we would want to continue down that path where we're like we're not displaying this in stable, but it gives you a different score on the website, which is the easiest way for us to implement it, right? Because we have all the processing in place server side. Yeah, we'll have to see.
So I was just making sure that that was on your radar because classic scoring doesn't match stable, which isn't a problem. It just needs to be accounted for as we
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah, I think I remember. You may have mentioned it, but the PR recently, which tried like tune back different rule sets to match
Yeah.
classic and stable. I think it's being closed, but so they were tuned to like match each other to be like because we'll eventually allow players to play with like Mania in OS lobbies and like other rule sets together in multiplayer. So it's been tuned to be kind of similar.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. And then there was like a follow-up PR which adjusted them to be closer to stable, but I don't know where that PR is. I guess it's just been closed and forgotten about.
We try and get PRs down to like under 10. Like
I've been trying to get them under like 40. Yeah.
we're gradually making progress. Like every week it's down 3 or 4 more.
If you exclude all the difficulty calculation PRs, we're under 40.
Yeah, I already do. Like my PR viewing page doesn't have them included, but the number is still high.
All right. Thanks for your question. Next.
Next. Jovan SP. Oh no, we added 2 people at once. What have we done? Hey, One Digit.
Hello, Puppy and Peppy and Smoogie I wanted to ask a question. Would you guys ever implement proper Chromebook support for OS Laser? I
Yep, for sure.
saw an APK download on the GitHub page, and I tried it on mobile and Oculus, and it worked pretty well, but wouldn't quite work as well on a Chromebook because of the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, okay. We haven't tested it on a Chromebook yet, so I'm not sure what the exact issues are with keyboard mouse, but oh, I guess because you're running the Android APK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. There are issues tracking, implementing proper mouse and well, I think keyboard is fine, but mouse support is a bit weird on Android right now. We are tracking that, and I think someone may be working on it even.
Yeah, because the mouse support, when I used it on Oculus, it worked awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
other than a little bit of lag here and there, but like 50, 60 FPS. Sorry about that. 50, 60 FPS running on an Oculus Quest 2, it's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that'll improve. We're also working on improvements to the iOS side of things for mouse support. Mobile platforms, they've only really got good mouse support over the last year or two. So they're all very recent APIs and they're constantly changing. So we have to try and keep up with them. And obviously we're desktop focused, so it's not the number one priority, but yeah, it's being tracked.
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm.
I think there's also a further issue where we don't include x86 Android or like other
Yeah, correct.
Android platform libraries. At some point we will. It doesn't sound like that's affecting either.
There was one other platform issue I was just thinking about. It's a platform where is it Windows ARM that we don't have yet?
That was recently with my changes merged in, actually.
Okay. There was an issue on the Realm side of things, I think, for Windows ARM. I don't know if that's been resolved yet, but maybe I need to look at that because I mean the build process isn't set up for it. But if we can build it, then maybe we should be.
Yeah.
I added Jovan SP. Let's try that again. There we go.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello, yes. Do you hear me?
yes, we do.
Yep.
Yes, excellent. I have the question about the making our own game modes in OSU. You still want to implement that in the OSU laser, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean it works. There's like 10 or 20 really good, really well-made game modes. If you're talking about whether we want to officially list them, then that is the eventual goal. Yep.
Okay, I see. I just wanted to ask, how do we, where do we code? Do we use Visual Studio, or I think you mentioned before that we'll have the in-game code editor for that. I think I heard that.
I don't think there'll be
And
one in game, not for rule sets at least. But if you, yeah, Visual Studio or any similar IDE you can use, we have template projects for getting started. If you go to like the OS, the laser repository, and look for the rule set templates, you can basically just run a command line tool, and it will set you up with a project that you can immediately test in OS and start from there. You still need a
Okay.
bit of knowledge as far as coding and the overall structure. We don't have as much documentation as we should right now, but yeah, if you're willing to jump in at the deep end, then you can do it already.
Okay, I see. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
I've just linked a link to the GitHub page for the templates. If you read that README there, basically all you need is .NET, and you can just run those commands to automatically create a template for you, and then get started with that. Hello, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
So as referring to the difficulty calculation, the latest one with Tycho, is there any sort of roadmap to do with the convert mod?
Just converts in general.
Yeah, just converts in general, applying a mod so we can have separate calculation for them.
Applying a mod for separate. So this is talking about converts from OS to Tycho, which you're saying need to have potentially different difficulty calculation applied to them. Is that?
Yeah, I think it was quite a while ago in the community meetings that it was referred to as converts having a separate mod, though probably didn't remember it correctly. But
Right.
yeah, in the latest PR, pretty much with the Smoogie sheet that was released, the primary thing is that converts work in a different way to, I guess, their patterns, and usually they don't actually have any difference in red or blue notes. And it's kind of hard to, create a branch system that can calculate both of those as one relies on the other for different pattern detection. So yeah, I guess that
So, Smiggy, does the fact that a bitmap is a convert not actually arrive at the difficulty calculation right now as a metric?
It does. You can actually just check that the play mode of the beatmap matches the rule set.
Yeah. So I think that can be done already. I'm not sure if there's something else I'm missing there.
Yeah, there's no mod, and I don't think there's ever going to be a mod for it.
Yeah, I think we did
But
discuss that, but I don't know if it's the correct direction.
yeah, but you can still just check the rule set of the beatmap matches the rule set that Taika rule set, I guess. And adjust your calculations to account for that.
that I didn't know and probably should have, but thank you.
Is that already used in Mania, DivCalc, or anywhere? It feels like it would have been.
I don't think so, but I think the discussion before happened on Mania.
Yeah, okay.
It's just that Mania hasn't had any updates in the recent while.
Yeah, so DivCalc has access to the bitmap info, and you can just do bitmap info dot rule set ID,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
If you need help with that, you can just like ask in Oslaser, and we can give you like some code.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, the PR will probably be done in a day anyway after this, so I'll ping you about that.
Cool. Yeah, part of the reason that I brought up the OS infrastructure work is because it's holding back all these changes.
Yeah.
I'm sure people.
Well, it's not really. I mean, we're starting to push them out again, right? I don't think there's any reason to wait.
Are we?
Are we?
Do you want to push things out?
Well, I'm saying, I mean, you're unblocking PR, so I assume we are.
Oh, I'm just merging things in to keep things moving.
Okay.
I didn't have intention to like
Right, to do an actual
do things
release.
until the
Well,
actual new.
yeah, I mean, we can. The only reason to potentially not is because of all the edge cases where scores aren't updated properly and whatnot. Hopefully, we're going to fix that with the new components. But I mean, I'm not against pushing out more difficult changes just to keep things more dynamic. If there are actually changes,
Hmm.
it seem worthwhile.
Okay, then I'll keep that in mind.
Like I have the process pretty easy to apply. It's not automated, but I just go through a checklist basically. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Considering that we are currently waiting on Elasticsearch and stuff, I think we can. I mean, the only overheads are going to be mostly your time spent doing all the spreadsheeting and stuff for it, but I think that happens regardless, right?
Yeah. I have plans to improve my spreadsheeting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Still like a bit of a manual process.
Yeah, so for anyone joining the meeting now, I think the notification must have gone out because we got a sudden flood in of like 50 people. We're just doing like a chill talk session today. I think we've been going for about an hour now, haven't we? So if you do have any questions you want to ask, then just I'm not recording this really, so we'll see if someone else recorded it on our behalf. But if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or ask in the discussion thread under the community meetings channel. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap this up soon.
Yeah, Zackman, the score database migration should be seamless for the end user. You
Yeah.
won't notice anything's changed. Well, you might, because there's probably going to be bugs all over the place, like stable and everything, but they'll be ironed out.
For anyone tracking laser releases, a new one just went out with some hopefully positive editor UX changes. I'm interested in feedback on that. We were basically in the stable bitmap editor, the actual transforms applied to hit objects were being mutated by the editor. Like it would changed the combo color of a certain layer, it had very like direct access to the visuals of hit objects, and that's how the editor made like hit objects stay on screen for longer and change color, flash white. We were trying to do the same thing in Laser until now, and it was just, it doesn't work so well because in Laser we've structured things a lot more correctly. For the best or worst, applying those kinds of changes on the fly in the editor doesn't work amazingly. So I pulled all that out and implemented like a layer on top of the hit objects, which displays the flashes and stuff, which I think feels pretty good. The number one concern I have, and some people have brought this up, is that the combo number is no longer above the white flash. I don't know how important that is. We'll have to see what the feedback's like. But yeah, if that is an issue, then I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Either have to like proxy the combo number above or display a second combo number. Probably the second. I'd rather display another one than try and proxy out of the hit objects. Because
I
yeah,
agree with that.
you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, because my vision for the editor, I don't know if we'll ever get there, but the editor so far has been implemented as like an overlay on top of the gameplay, with the hope that one day we can just have like a hit the tab key and the editor will disappear and you can just play along with the beat map. And like we've kind of, I've been structuring things in that way, not just to potentially make that happen, but I think it makes for a cleaner implementation, having the editor as like a separate thing rather than being intertwined. In stable, the editor kind of has, as I said, direct access to everything, and the code is a bit hacky in certain places. It's like, it's one of those situations where, oh my god, I keep getting notifications, alerts. It's one of those situations where things are much easier to do in stable. Like because you have direct access to everything, you can just make stuff happen in like minutes. Whereas in laser, it may take more consideration than thought. But as a result, it becomes very hard to maintain. And as you add more pieces to the puzzle, like for instance, if we add the ability to, like right now in laser, we could turn on a mod in the editor and it will display correctly. Maybe not for the wiggle. I don't know if wiggle mod would work with blueprints, positions, and stuff, but in theory, most mods should be applicable. But in stable, if we tried to apply any mod, it would completely break stuff. Like the editor just would be applying transforms which didn't expect the timing of hit objects to change and weird stuff like that. So yeah.
I think we've had a few issues with people requesting mods to be addable in the editor.
Yeah, but also a lot of those are people that use the editor for playtesting. So I don't know how important it is to mappers. I'm sure there are use cases where it can be used for mappers, but we'll see. We do need to get a test play mode in, or a mod, or however we're going to implement it. But yeah, if you start up Laser, as of today's release, you're going to get a new screen when you start it, the new first run setup screen, and it kind of guides you through a setup process. So let us know what you think of that. I think it's pretty nice. We've still got some work to do there, but it lets you at least download some beat maps, and for a new user, I think it's going to be a lot better experience.
Uberfaz asks, how can we expect the spotlight tag to be applied? I guess this is the new spotlight label. I don't actually know how it works.
Yep, so that's being manually applied by the people that are running the Spotlight series. And I think it is going to be retroactively applied to any beat map which was featured in a previous Spotlight as well. I think it was discussed that the next step would be having a second flag, which is like when it's in a current playlist, a current Spotlight. And then you can see like, you'll be able to click through and play that Spotlight immediately. It'll load up the laser playlist interface to it.
Why was the flag not just the ID?
I don't know. I didn't really follow that implementation, but it's like a first step, so we can easily change that.
Okay.
I agree. ID would probably work better. Should probably bring that up somewhere.
All right, shall we call it?
Is there a reason the spotlight column was a bool, not a spotlight ID? Yeah, we can call it there. It sounds like a good time to do so. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We've kind of got the community meetings on hold, but maybe we'll make one happen next weekend with a. If you have any topic suggestions, then let us know. One of the main reasons we haven't been running them is just because we don't really have anything to focus on, and it was getting a bit stale asking questions and doing the questions and answers every week. But it is nice to do this just casually once in a while. We got through a few concerns today, and that was good. Check out the laser release.
Alrighty then.
Gonzalo raised his hand right at the last
Last
minute.
one.
You've got 1 minute to state your question.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So late.
We can't hear you now.
Cannot
Talk
hear?
close to your mic.
Oh,
It was a bit cutting out.
can you hear now?
Kind of.
Barely.
Oh my god, I don't know what's happening.
All right, if you talk just how you did just then we can hear you.
Okay, can you guys hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry for taking this question quite late in the meeting. Yeah, it's actually very short. It's just I opened an issue like 2 years ago. It's about this state that the host in a multiplayer room is selecting a bitmap, and I just wanted to know if you have any, like if you want to work on it, because I think it's really important in the game. It's something I
So
really need.
what you're saying is that when the host is selecting bitmap, we should show to the lobby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly.
we definitely need that. And I think we should
Yeah,
get that in as soon as possible.
I thought it would be like something easy to work, but I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. So if there's already an issue, can you just leave a comment on that, like bumping it, and
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Should only take
Okay.
30 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Let's call it there. It was good talking to you, Smoogie, and everyone else.
Yeah. All right, thanks all. See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Goodbye.
Bye.